Good morning, everyone. I hope everybody is doing well today. Give it a second. Just give it another minute. We'll get signed into the chat here. Oh, man. I have been going through some changes. I guess that I started that deep dive psychology, 8-week immersive intensive program. How's my? Need to check something here real quick. I was moving my stupid camera around, and that'll work for now. I really got to figure out what I'm going to do because I kind of liked having the cool little lights in the background and stuff. Now, like, if I did that, I'd be throwing RGB lights up in my kitchen. I miss Laz. Talking about our energy drinks in the morning. I reached out to him the other day. He's looking for employment. I didn't realize that he had a finance degree, right? So hopefully he can find a job and he can rejoin us because that dude's excitement really was something fun. All right, we've got some bigger news happening. Bitcoin is ripping aces off today. Yes, it is. All right. So Bitcoin's ripping, and the psychology course. It's just phenomenal. I can't. I don't want to go into it too much, but I'll save it for the video I'm going to put up on it for this week's video diary check-in. But oh my gosh, just the amount of change and possibility is going to be palatable. All right, so let's get into. Let's do this. Okay, so everything pretty much gapped up last night. So we're just hoping that there isn't a gap fill in the morning. Lots of things are starting to become bullish again, and let's just get into the futures. However, the U.S. is probing options trades that Barry Diller, Alexander von Furstenberg, and David Geffen made on Activation Blizzard just days before the company agreed to be acquired by Microsoft. So those three people had some insider knowledge, right? So Microsoft may move off of that news even more than it already is. ATVI. Let's get a dang chart over here that we're used to seeing, shall we? This guy. Right? Super chop. All right. Interesting. They're going to hit them up. All right. Sumo. Remember Sumo Logic? I told you I've done some work with them in the past. Q4 EPS. I can't believe they're down at $10. Right? That's just this is just a death rattle on a lot of stocks, right? We are at major support levels, so if it cracks yesterday's low, we got the weekly bottom come in at 1033. Below that, it's free fall. Upward potential up to about 1120. Okay. Mongodb Mdb shares are up 10%, baby. I knew this was going to be a ripper. I think we even talked about this one several times this week that MongoDB is going to be making some moves. Shares are up 10% on an EPS loss of 9 cents versus 23. Q4 revenues are up 56% year over year, and they see year revenues at 1.18 billion versus 1.15. Loss at 51 to 29 cents versus a negative 61 cent loss, right? Atlas revenues up 85%. So where does it go from here? So with the general view of the market today and this doing a gap and go, this is a peg stock. So post earnings gapper, we hit the 21 for our mid. Now we start getting into, that's right, you guessed it, start getting into that daily cloud or that weekly cloud. And that weekly cloud run goes, I would say from the 4-hour mid, so 322.50. A little bit of resistance at 328, which is a daily bottom, 34 EMA. Slingshot squeeze is going to fire off. right? And we can climb up through the daily cloud to the 4-hour top at 345, right? So I'm thinking we do a 325 to 345 move. Contrarian, we reject the bottom of this weekly cloud, which is also the 4-hour mid, right? So we reject the 321, 320, 321 level. We pull back down to the 4-hour cloud, 4-hour bottom, right? Which would be a healthy retracement, right? Nice little retracement from this rip, retrace to the 618, 4-hour bottom, even as low as a 50% retracement. So 301, 295 support, or we bull flag, fire off. So there's two ways for it to go. You can play the downside move to 300, 290, right? It's going to be quick. It's going to be a quick little retracement, and then you play the rip off of it. Mongodb, put it on your list for today. Watch it. Okay. As a matter of fact, let's do this. I'm going to start. I mean, I have mixed emotions on what XOM is doing, because it's kind of one of those like, you can't go up forever, right? We knew that there was going to be some healthy pulling back, right? It just pulled back to the 34, right? It had a dividend day yesterday, which is my bad. I didn't report on that. Or is that today? Oh, it's got X dividend day. So the dividend is 13 cents. Anytime a company has a dividend day, expect it to pull back. Okay. All right. So let me do this real quick. Is there a way that I can? I thought that there was a way that I could easily. I guess I can't. Shoot. Huh. All right. Well, that sucks. I was going to show y'all something, but it won't let me. Yeah, well, there we go. Okay. All right. So I took an SPX trade, right? I know it's way out of the money, but I'm betting that we get a close rally to 4,500 in March, right? March 11th. Little rip to 4,500. Or no. I guess I did. All right. Well, I think I grabbed the wrong contract on that. Regardless, this is what I'm looking at here, right? SPX rally to 4,500. I got this. And I'm going to start using one of these charts, right? We need to start being able to look at like analyzing some different plays with our options, right? So this is my Tastyworks account. Right now I've got a what did I buy? 10 of these butterflies that I'm making a bet that we pin 4,500 by the end of the day tomorrow. If so, my $100 investment will turn into almost a $10,000 return. But what I'm trying to say is we have to start looking at trading some of these contracts while we're going through our stream, right? And I think Tastyworks might be the best way for me to show you with the least amount of intrusion, right, into the stream. So we will be looking at options contracts and getting some specific, very, very specific plays going forward. Okay, just wanted y'all to know about that. So I've been getting a lot of feedback lately, and that was one thing that a lot of people have been saying is, hey, let's not just look at the ups and the downs, let's look at some very specific levels, because my levels have been spot on lately, and I'm not using any of these fancy indicators. I'm just using knowledge. A little irritated about my NVIDIA 225 calls that I bought, that I played yesterday at the open, and I really have to analyze my strategy on these a little bit more, because I bought them at 88 cents. Sold them for a little bit of a loss, and they ended up going to $5. So strike selection contracts have been great lately. I just have to analyze a little bit more of trade management. So Bumble, sorry, that was a ramble on Bumble. Shares are up 15%. Q4 EPS at an 8-cent losses versus a 0-cent loss. Another one, right? Look at this. This is a very, very similar pattern to what we just saw with was it Mongodb, right? So bull flag ripper or pull back to 4-hour mid, 21 EMA, 34, right? These are negatively stacked moving averages right now. Okay. Still 34, 21, 13. We're positive on the lower time frames, but on our 195-minute chart, we're still negative. We will get either a bull flag breakout, rip, immediately banging its head into the 4-hour and daily top, weekly 4-hour top, daily bottom cloud, weekly bottom cloud. So it's coming, it went through support, it's coming back up into support or into resistance now. So it'll either smack its head and pull back and then make another rip at it, or it's just going to launch right through it. Okay. So if you want to trade BMBL or BM Bumble, right, there's this kind of a move getting ready to set up, right? You're either going to rally that way, or we're going to back test, rip, right? Or, and then the third option is we back test down, up. Okay. Lots of different ways, but with these post earnings gappers, right? Because that's what it did, is it gapped up. Typically, well, let's look at the retracement and see what we see here. So from high to low, high to liggity low. All right, a 618 retracement is just pulling back to the 21 EMA and the 4-hour mid. So support, rip, all the way back down to 18. So 19 support, 2250 target, right? That's Bumble. All right, what else we got here? GE. The GE board provided authorization for up to a 3 billion common share repurchase. That's not bad. That should help GE move a little bit. Another one of these 4-hour mid, 34 EMA. We're either going to go through it, 4-hour top at 92.50. We're going to hit the monthly mid at 91.50 and consolidate there, or we're going to reject and come back down for our bottom through the daily cloud. If it did that, inverse head and shoulders setting up, getting something set up for a longer move. All right. Hold on. Healthcare. I'm not seeing any news, but guess who is moving? You guessed it, this sucker, right? Big move, drop, resistance. Look for 135, 136. Above 136, we get a move to 143. 143 to 146, right? To complete the daily move cycle, it would be, so we came down, we rallied up through the 4 hour, we back tested it, we're moving up to the 4 hour mid, so 135, 136. We've got 34 EMA resistance, so above 137. We see a move up to 143, 144. We reject this level, we come back down to the 4 hour bottom. 130, 128, 130. I don't think we back tested the daily bottom yet, so we ripped up through the daily bottom, daily cloud. We came back, and now we're in the 4 hour cycle while the daily cycle is trying to fire off. So it would make sense that we hit the 4 hour mid, right? And then we back test the daily bottom. So 130 support. Then we make that move up to the daily mid, 145, as we're completing the 4 hour top cycle. So Moderna, I will be watching Moderna today, even though I can't stand the dang thing. I will be keeping an eye on it. I'll make sure I got access to the app. Okay, so I'm gonna keep an eye on Moderna. All right. Yep, Moderna currently 135, 138, 144. Calls are all at their current best option price level. The 132 put is also at its current best option profit level. Roku, 119, 121, 123 calls are also at its best option level. And so is the SPX today expiry 4200 call, right? So there's some freebies for you. Pfizer, ooh, Pfizer. Good morning. Pfizer back in the news. Look how it's loving that 50-day. We're gonna get either a 50-day cross up or 21, or excuse me, we're gonna get a 50-day bounce or a 200-day cross up. That 200 cross up, we're gonna go. It's gonna be kind of a death sentence for Pfizer. Okay, Pfizer's just hanging on, right? There's no news on, there's no additional COVID news to keep pumping this thing, so it's just kind of running out of gas. They said the Pfizer did say it had begun a mid to late study of its antiviral pill for non-hospitalized children ages 6 to 17 who are at high risk for developing severe illness. They may get a little pop off of that, but look at this. There's just, I don't think there's enough interest, and I think that the rotation is going into other areas, right? Alrighty. Abivi, y'all knew what Abivi is, right? They have a great dividend. Also, Abivi is also Botox, so they're really not going anywhere. Abivi will grant Alvotech a non-exclusive license of its Humira-related patents in the United States, which will begin July 1st, 2023. Abivi will make no payments of any form to Alvotech, and Alvotech will pay royalties to Abivi for licensing its Humira patents and acknowledges the validity and enforceability of the licensed patents. Not exactly sure what that means, other than we need this 50 to cross back above the 200, and you won't get these wicked drops, right? These wicked $18 candles, right? And it's starting to round off a little bit. I would I'd actually look for daily mid down cycle. All right, so below 146, a little bit of support at 145.35 for down cycle back down to 142, taking profits at 143. Right, this is starting to pull back a little bit. Can't maintain that 200. It's got issues. The other option would be we do daily top, retest 150. 150 is such a psychological level for so many stocks. So I'd say we retest 150 again. 146. Looks like it might just be range bound there for a little while as well. Okay. In energy, API, please someone start tracking these. American Petroleum Institute reported crude inventories rose 2.8 million barrels. Crude inventories at Cushing fell 400,000 barrels. Gasoline inventories fell 2 million barrels, and diesel inventories fell 5.5 million barrels. What does that mean? That means that we're using our reserves, and that's why our gas prices are going up. All right, Forex Factory, I need to make sure that we have. All right, we do have 2 events. One will affect the market, JOLTS job openings. Right, that's at 10. At 10:30, we have crude oil inventories, but most really, really important here, 1 o'clock, 10-year bond auction. Be aware of that. Check this out. Biden issues executive order on digital assets. Biden does not announce new regulations, directs agencies to develop policy recommendations focused on consumer protection, financial stability, illicit financing, promotion, U.S. leadership, blah, 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 blah. So he's saying I wonder if that's why Bitcoin's ripping right now. I wonder if that is why Bitcoin is ripping right now. There's the move from yesterday. 38 to 42. It's hitting some pretty significant resistance right now, right? These are supply and demand zones. I have not really got a bunch of time yet in to figure out best way to comment on these, but we do have a squeeze setting up. It's pulling up. Like this is phenomenally bullish right now. Jeez. But we are pulling back, so look for some support if you're in crypto and you're interested. Make sure you're running your Fib levels, okay? Make sure you're running your Fib levels. So you can always run an extension and a retracement. So we're in a rally right now. It started here, right? We're in this type of a rally, right? This short rally matches up with this long rally. So we've got a 618 pullback to 40,580 or 40,500, right? That area, or potentially the 382, 39. I'll just call it 39,800 or 39,775. Okay, the level to look for would be breaking 41.5, right? Then we get a dip, dip, rip, or a dip, dip, rip. I don't think there's any supply left here. So look at this high compression squeeze. I'm really getting invested. Oh, crap. Yeah. So please don't let me forget to go buy the B4 indicator today. All right. Activision. Boop, whoopity whoop boop boop. All that news. All right. And consumer news. Macy's is back in the news again. This is a short squeeze candidate. Macy's raised $4.5 billion in June 2020 to help fund its strained operations. In the coming weeks, it expects to refinance $850 million in bonds. It also intends to pay down another $280 million in debt. That's good for this company. But we had a 5,200 cross down. Better days are ahead for Macy's. Let's see, maybe a little pop to 24.35. I would look for that 4-hour mid rejection, pull back to, I mean, we got to maintain that 23.50 level, right? Does have a dividend day coming up next week, so expect pullback. We might get a little rip, right? A little ripper rip, and then a little dipper dip. Okay. Stitch Fix. Shares are down 18%, y'all. They went from 11 to 8. Q2 EPS loss at 28 cents, in line with estimates as revenues rose 3%. Q3 revenues at 500 million versus 560 million. Sees year revenues to be flat or to down slightly. Active clients 4 million, an increase of 146% or 4% year over year. They've kind of plateaued. They've flatlined, right? And in this market, you can't flatline. You have to be moving, especially if you're a growth consumer stock. Where is the bottom for this? 738. Below 738, I have no data on it, but it could be a good dip buy at 740, right? I don't know. I don't really believe in this stock enough to warrant any capital being thrown at it. Okay. In world news, China February CPI showed an annual CPI of positive 0.9%, in line with estimates, and monthly CPI at 0.6 versus 0.3. Prior reading of 0.4. Annual PPI at 8.8 versus 8.7. Last year's PPI was 9.1. So China is doing kind of flat. And then your boy is set to sign an executive order that will direct the federal government to come up with a plan to regulate cryptocurrencies, coordinating efforts among financial regulators to be better understood the risks and opportunities presented by digital assets. So let's think about this for a minute. Just follow me down my rabbit hole for a second, okay? Let's just say I use cryptocurrency to do a variety of things. Like, for example, if you've ever watched Queen of the South, she was using cryptocurrency to provide illicit cartel-like activities. I have to be real careful. I'm streaming on YouTube, so right. Let's say you wanted to wash some clothes. There's lots of opportunities in an asset that, one, isn't regulated, and two, is hard to track, and three, right, isn't taxed. So your boy coming out and saying, hey, we are going to actually become involved in this, right, is causing not like, hey, this is great news, let's rip, but let's get our money out as quickly as we can. So lots of volume, right? Lots of transactions are occurring, which is like people start seeing, oh, it's starting to move up. There's people that are going to buy into it, but people that are using it for not good, they're just cashing out, right? They're like, buy, sell, buy, sell, buy, sell. Like, let's just start selling out. Okay. That is my rabbit hole. It is completely tinfoil hat theory, and I like this indicator right here. It's really slow, right? It's a slow indicator, right? It's not like, oh, buy the dip, but it's pretty slow. I got to look a little bit more into it. Okay. The other end, I had mentioned the B4 indicator. This is what I'm looking to grab. Weighted volume. I have a different, right? Yeah, this is the the B4 free version. I think I can, I don't know. It's got to fight for a spot to replace one of these two here. Gonna be one of these. This Radiant Fire is, I don't know if it's good for this market. I think I'd rather go with my slow stock, right? This one, right? I think I get a little. I think I get a little bit better data with it. Okay. Regardless, I digress. My bad. Well, there she goes. There she blows. It's trying to take out the bottom. Trying to take out 795, 75. Whoop-dee. Little flush to 735. Okay. Key events today, a bunch of conferences. These are actual conferences. They're not okay. There's a couple virtual, but looks like the conference circuit is back on. So JP Morgan Emerging Markets, Morgan Stanley Media Telecom, Raymond James Institutional Investors, Citigroup Global Property CEO Conference. Earnings after the close today. Nothing really that we trade, and that's fine, except for maybe Crowdstrike. That could be a fun one to look at. It has some earnings today, and it's at a pretty decent value, 150, right? So bottom rip, or failure, depending how earnings go. So let's look at Crowdstrike for next week. I really like a move back to 4-hour daily mid, this 180 level, but I want to get it at the lowest price I can. So last earnings they ripped. Earnings before they dipped. When they're down on earnings, it looks like they rip pretty good. Okay. And then 7:30 MBA or 7 o'clock MBA mortgage application data. That's already taken place. JOLTS jobs openings and the weekly DOE inventory. So U.S. stock futures point to a major strong open with the S&P rising 1.4%, 10-year yield up 1.9%, oil futures down 2%, a pullback in global oil prices following yesterday's comprehensive ban on Russian energy imports from your boy. Looks to be helped bullish sentiment Wednesday. No major developments occurred overnight to explain the big jump in stocks, other than the S&P comes into the day riding a 4-day losing streak, and the ban on Russian oil has been expected. Are they saying BTFD? Maybe. In Asian markets, the Nikkei index fell 73 points. Shanghai index dropped 1.1%. Hang Seng declined 0.67%. And in Europe, the DAX is surging over 600 points. So the DAX is up 4.8%. That's huge. Imagine if we were up 4% one day, right? FTSE gains 1.16 or 1.16%. Bitcoin and other crypto stocks are a little higher. Bitcoin jumped 7% above 4,200 at a statement that briefly appeared on the Treasury website before it was taken down. Yellen said a still pending executive order on virtual currencies from your boy calls for a coordinated and comprehensive approach to digital asset policy that will establish reasonable, responsible innovation. See, that's the whole thing with Bitcoin is it's not, the government's not in it, and that's like the allure. So if I had millions of dollars that I just wanted to play with and not be regulated on, right? As soon as the government gets involved into it, it's gonna just be worthless, in my opinion. Okay. You heard it here first. U.S. major averages ended lower on Tuesday after volatile day as U.S. banned Russian oil and other energy imports because of the invasion, leading to another spike in oil and other commodity prices, which have boosted fears of a global recession. Absolutely. The U.S. imposed an immediate ban on imports, while the U.K. will phase out imports on Russian oil and oil products by the end of 2022, considered banning its natural gas. Consumer staples and healthcare were the worst performing sectors, each ended down by more than 2%, while energy and consumer discretionary rose. Absolutely. All right. You know what I forgot to get here? Yeah, child is this. Forgot to get that loaded up. Load it up. Load it up. All right. SPY on the daily. Currently trading -2 ATR. Or on the weekly, -2 ATR. That needs to bounce back. This is ugly. Nice move up today, right? We got the 21 day at 426. Do we hit the 21? Or excuse me, that's an 8. My bad. My sad. That's a little better. We got a VWAP test at 428.98. But look at this. Like we came off of 0. Like there's no volume down here. Let's look at targeting some mid. All right, so the middle of the row for our volume, right, is right here, which also lines up with the 21-day EMA on the daily chart. Rip to the 21. We have previous VWAP resistance at 428. Above 428, we see 433. Maybe little blips up to 430. Excuse me. Yeah, that's right, 433. Why do I feel like... I wonder what this would look like if I did this. Oh, yeah. Yes. Let's do this. 433. All right, let's look at the 433 calls for SPY. 430, 433, shall we? Moderna, there's a bunch of Moderna action. Not seeing any SPY stuff. Let's see, SPY. SPY, 430, 433s. Those 435s today. Ooh. Wow. They closed at 4 cents. Okay. Where is this guy? 433 is still... I'll look at a delta curve. All right. Hopefully y'all can see that. Right, they're trying to make me go out to the 25th. Let's look at some 0 days. And I'm saying we want 433. I think that's a bit of a risk. Just considering that's way too many deviations for SPY, right? What's the SPY at now? Do we know? Big old gap. Holy cow. 417 to a $7 gap. Below 421.48 on SPY, we gap fill back down to 417. definitely put play on that. So we're trading at 424, right? And I said 433 is the mark, right? All right, so that's a tough gain. That's 7%. Doesn't make sense. You see that? Oh, that's not right. So we're gonna open 424, right? So I'm just looking at the open interest and the delta. $420 puts, right? Let's look at the 420 puts for any sort of a pullback, right? Okay. All right, let's get into what you came here for. This is bad boy. All right. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Johnny. Good morning, Andrea. Good morning, Terry. Good morning, Orlando. And what's up, watchlist? So, what do we got? Zoom. You want to look at Noke, OIH, Tesla Spy, Bitcoin, AMD. Yeah. Oh, I looked up Oxy, not Zoom. I looked up Zoom too. That's where I did. All right. Yeah, XOM is down, right? But it's at support, right? So rally up, right? Breathing free air, rip back down, right? Let's move down yesterday. Support at the 34, daily bottom for our mid. Trying to move back up. So we're at the 21 on the 195 minute now. I would look for supports at 84, right? Below that, we do for our top, for our mid, for our bottom, right? We could look at a move down to 80, right? Like we're holding that, well, okay. So let's just say the day that, oh, yeah, it back tested and filled like that. So let's just say we do get a little pop. That'll give us our big middle finger pattern for larger move down. Daily top support, like this is a bullish move. You know, it's the back, there's the money shot, right? You rip through a major Celt, you back test it for support, and you continue your move on, right? We rip through, we filled the 4-hour top, and from here it has to go back down to the mid. From the mid, it can either go down to the bottom or it can retest the top, right? So let's go, you know what, let's look at our futures first, and then we'll look at what crude's doing. Okay. All right, our futures are looking pretty bright. Gotta wear shades. Kidding. All right, so from a daily perspective, what's going on? What's going on here? We're still below the 21, below the 50, right? We haven't had that 50, 200 cross down yet, right? But we, from a downtrend, right? We trend reversal candle, little rip up pre-market after opening at lows. We're currently backtesting this 1 standard deviation regression line, looking for a move back. All right, let's do this. This is the move. So we pulled back. We're retesting the 30 or the 382 right now. If we can get above 42.50, then I think we do 42.78, 43.11, and then go to test this 21 day, right? This is on the daily, right? Let's look at the 4 hour, right? Big strong moves on the 4 hour. We overtook the 21 on the 4 hour, right? We're trying to get above here. See how this is pretty significant level here. It's a 382 retracement from this high down to this low, right? We ripped down, right? We found a low, we went up and tested. Didn't quite make the 50%. We dipped back down, we found support. We're coming up, 21 day. We're currently at the 21 day. 382 retracement, right? So we have this skyline at 42.68 as a target, followed by this snow line way up here at 43.70, right? Those are our upside targets off of support, right? 42.68.75, and other level would be 43.11. Okay, so if we get some continuation on 42.85, let's look at it from a 30-minute perspective. Nice pre-market, like nice move yesterday, nice pre-market, right to the retracement level. We're at this here. So there's a trading zone that runs from here up to here, like this one did, up and back tested it up. We do have a 2150 crossover. We're trying to break that trend line resistance, right? Lots of things are happening here. We're trying to retest the 200, right? Skyline. So see how that zone trades from here to here, right? Back tested its support, it ripped through it. Okay, we're looking pretty good on the 30. If we reject this level, we'll come back down and test support, make another big old bull flag, right? But with the 2150 cross up, we might get some pops to retest this 200. If for some reason we can get above the 200 on the 30-minute, whoop-de-whoop, trend reversed, right? If we reject it, make another move down, right? We can hold a higher high from here, right? So we reject here, we come back down to here, maybe a little dips down into here. All right, that's the ES. Looking at the NASDAQ from a daily perspective, you would have thought that this candle right here is a trend reversal candle. We had one here. We had one here, right? We had a big one there. This looks like the same kind of play, right? The key is we stay above 13,465. We have the 21 day at, let's just call it 14,200. And that would be a good up or pull back to here, right? Our inverted head and shoulders, I think it's invalidated. I do think we have a 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. The only problem with this is if we make a down move, it's going to be pretty nasty. All right, so we're currently checking on the 4-hour 21 again. Above that, right above the snow line, we have Skyline at 13,837. We're moved to 14,071. 200 days way up here at 14,200, right? So depending on what happens, this 50 can bounce and curl, and we can get a little bit of support from the 21 on the 4-hour. I think we can go longer on it. Looking at the NQ, right? Looks like we broke some trendline resistance. That would have been from here. $21.50 crossover. We're looking to test at 200 today. So we're going to get a 30-minute candle 200-day test, right? Looking at previous highs. There we go. Little resistance at 13,600. Remove to 13,665. Contrarian, we've got support down here at 13,464. This is bullish though. This rising 21, rising 50 on the 30-minute should be pretty bullish for NQ. But I just noticed this as well. I believe that there's a group of traders that would call this a broadening pattern. Am I right? Or am I wrong? So the worst would be chopping. Big, expensive chopping that puts us out till 9 o'clock this morning. 10 o'clock. So it's either 10 Mountain Standard Time, so noon. So if we were to 1, 2, 3, 4 test at noon. Yeah. All right, let's check it out. Next up on the list is a daily Dow. The Dow is going to be the first one to retest the 200 on our intraday time frames. Okay. Don't need that. It's invalid. This should be a trend reversal candle here. We have a fire line at 33,631. That's our upside target. We did have a 21 or a 50 200 cross down. Now that 50 can curl back around and cross back up, going into FOMC on the 16th, right? Four-hour view, trying to make a strong recovery. We got above the 21. We're going to be retesting the 50, and then finally making a move up to this fire line. So support 33,041, first resistance 33,394, followed by a target of 33,616. Okay, pretty decent move for the Dow today. Looking at it on the 13. So first, third, fourth, right? We retested the 200. Couldn't break it, fell off, right? Retested 200, couldn't break it, really fell off. Couldn't test the 200. Went and tested the 200, couldn't break it, fell off. Coming into it, testing the 200. If we break through it, that's a easily attainable fire line target. Okay. Support, take profit, resistance. Okay. Should be interesting. We'll, before the open, we'll retest the 50 or the 200 on the 30-minute chart, I think. Yeah, I think we get a retest of it. Gonna be very interesting. Very, very interesting. All right, the red-headed Russell. I've actually been paying a lot more attention on the Russell lately because it's been doing kind of a decent job holding the market up, right? The best that it can do, considering it's the Russell. This is that trend reversal wick candle I'm telling you about. This is how it's supposed to look, right? We're downtrending, downtrending, downtrending. We get that sword that comes in and kills the trend and reverses it. We did do a 51. All right, so this is lots of fib action happening here. All right, so that's an invalid fib, but that's a valid one. All right, we're coming up to 50% retracement, which is a 1414 from a smaller time frame, right? Got the 21 day at 1618. Let's look at this on the 4 hour so that we can get a little bit more granular. Nice moves. Looking for 50, 200 cross up, which would put us through the 1414, 127, right? So let me get rid of all these fibs, right? All right. So from high to low, right? We've rallied up, tested. This will be our test of the 50% retracement. If we can get through it, we can blip up to test the 50, 200, looking for 50 cross up or rejection. We're currently above the 21. Where we go skyline, 1991, the 2006 and 7 area, right? 2014 would be target 1, right? 2038 is target 2. The last time we were below, I think we have a good opportunity to break above it today, right? Good opportunity. Let's look at it on the 30-minute chart. I think we're coming right up to that 50% retracement fib level. The first attempt at it, we didn't get through it. So usually the second attempt, we can get through it. Look to target the 618, right? We cleared, so here's the move. Rallied up to the 200. Oh, we did it. Failed, but we found support at a 382 retracement. We rallied up through it. If we can get above 1997, there's a quick move to 2007, possibly 2014. Look for this 2150 cross up. This is bullish. Small caps are uptrending. Small caps are uptrending. Yay! Yay for the small caps. I don't even know any decent small caps to play. But I do know this is going to be bullish today. Gold hit $2,080 an ounce. I think it was watchlist that was like, yo, start checking out gold back here. Or was it even further back? Can't remember. I think it was a long time ago. Yeah, it was back in here. Right? This was back in back in September. Regardless, gold has been making big move. So gold could very easily make the world's biggest bear or bull flag here. Run this sucker for quite a while. Right at the 127 extension, right at $2,021. $2,022, right in that area. From a 4-hour perspective, it ripped up, hit my 1414 extension. If you haven't added that to your fib chart yet, do it. You will be amazed at what happens when price action interacts with that level. It's my favorite level, right? It's just enough above a 127 to catch some wicks, right? not quite as far as a 1618 extension, right? Big move up. We pull back. We're testing the 21 right now on the 4-hour. If that level holds, right, we can look at potential move back up. Contrarian, if that level fails, we take out previous support right here at this 1990 level. We have a move easily down to the 50, right around 1952.50, and then that trend line support should hold. The last time we rallied back or pulled back to the 21, we consolidated along with it for a little bit, and then we ripped up off of it. The 50-day has been great for secondary support levels, but we do have, right, this is a big drop pre-market, so crypto is probably moving. Remember, gold is down, crypto's up. That's the way we like to trade, make money. I'm just kidding. I keyed. All right, let's check out Crude. Looking at Crude. Oh, that's ugly. So, unfortunately, it's not even a valid trend line. Never mind. All right, so we have a snow line at 116, right? Below 116, we have a fire line down here as a magnet of 111. From a daily perspective, bringing it down to the 4-hour, getting zoomed in there a little bit, right? We're just downtrending. Looks like, well, it already filled the gap. So look for 116.53. Below that, 114.50, 113.31. This fire line down here will act as a magnet, right? 111.50. If it completes this down cycle, look for snow line magnets up to this tree line. But there's no like, oh, it's got trend line support. Oh, this, that, and the other. I think Crude is finally, and this is a big move, right? We are in, yeah. And it doesn't have to close. It can wick down and grab it and then start its retracement up. Or it can do a, if this is the move, then it's going to be scary. Right. I like how this played out. I would have thought like Head and Shoulders, right, short it, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, A, B, C, corrective pattern, Wu-Tang reversal. 1, 2, 3, 4, or it's, anyway. Again, then we're going to keep an eye on this because I know there's lots of lines and things, but it's really just important to pay attention to the big ones. Okay. All right. And ZB bond futures, right? Lots of little consolidation here, right? Snow line rejection. Currently trading at this skyline. There looks like there's a gap that needs to be filled. Does it come down and fill that gap? I'm not super hip on these Fib levels because I don't think they're super valid. These retracement levels are off. Let's get some data in here, shall we? I mean, there is a gap to fill to the downside. All right, just checking some things out here. Yeah. Maybe it's forming like a head and shoulders. We'll see if it rips up to 159 and starts slumping again. Then the neckline is pretty much 155. Right. And I spilt something on my dog's leash. Like I think I've got those little wallflowers. I think the leash was on top of one of it and it absorbed all the oil. And now I just smell wallflower everywhere. It's crazy. All right, and then the yen is still downtrending, right? Which is good. The yen can continue to pull on back, right? Ooh, what's this? Interested to see what happens in the yen for the next couple hours. We need it to not do the 1, 2, 3. Oh, it's Wu Tang Wednesday. What? Nobody reminded me? You're all fired. How is that even possible? My bad. My bad. Okay, so the question is, why is oil downtrending, but gas prices are rising? Right. Well, sorry. All right, let me get rid of the Wu-Tang Clan. One second. I went over that. Okay. So the reason gas prices are rising is because crude inventories are up, right? 2.8 million barrels, right? Um, but inventories at Cushing fell 400,000 barrels, right? So instead of us, when we use our own supply of oil, right, then if we tap into our reserves and we're not using the cheap oil that we get from Russia or other countries, then it costs us more because we're depleting our reserves, right? Gas inventories are down 2 million barrels, right? Diesel fell 5.5 million. So we're using more fuel from our own reserves, right? And so in order to combat that, we raise the price so that people don't use as much. Like we don't, it's like, um, imagine I'm trying to think of something along the lines of like Halloween candy, right? Um, or popcorn. Imagine you go to a movie and you have you're with somebody and you get popcorn and some candy, right? And you're sharing the popcorn and everything's great. But then as soon as you start eating your candy, like you're not as willing to share it. Does that make sense? I don't know. But basically it costs us more. They try to deter fuel usage of our reserves by raising the price. Yeah, I guess I made. Hopefully that makes sense. Like, it's the easiest like analogy I could come up with on short notice. So remember, I said this is a key level on the ES right here. We're gonna have to keep an eye on it. Let's check out our. I'm starting to like this 8-minute chart a little bit more. Right. But it's been a while since we've had a nice bull day. Um, think it would be nice to have one, possibly. Yeah, gold should be falling along a little bit. All right, let's check out our daily bread and butters. Everything pretty much gapped up across the board, right? After, Tesla leading the way yesterday, right? These are big erratic patterns, though, right? Oh, well, QQQ filled its gap. Holy shh. Is that at 6? Yeah. So we had that, everybody taking profit flush. So gaps have been filled. We might get a gap and go today. Might get in gap and go today. I need SPX at 4,500. I know I'm asking for a lot, but if it pins at 4,500, I'm rich. I like AMD for continuation. I like Tesla for continuation. Nvidia for continuation. Apple, I don't know. I like them all. So let's get into it. All right. So real quick. All right, this is the flow index, right? Remember all these, like, I'm like, hey, there's these blocks that need to be filled. There's these blocks that need to be filled. There's these, I keep preaching, there's these blocks that need to be filled, right? Back here, I was like, blocks need to be filled. Okay. So let's crack this down to DOS 15 and take a look at where we're at. There's still a big old block on SPY that needs to be filled at 432, right? Flow index is a little bit diverged from price, just barely. White line support 419.50, so let's just call it 420. Uptrending, right? Higher, but made a higher high, higher low. 431, 432, 32. Look at the flow index. Up and back and up and back and up and back and up and back, right? The flow index does have a little bit of overhead resistance, right? A little here, a little there, son, right? What we like to see, break, backtest, rip. So I'm feeling on the SPY. Bearish divergence. Bearish divergence. Let's see. Divergence occurred there. It's played out. Still minor. So XOM 85 support, right? Hit 85, 84 actually. Watch the flow index open. I think that it might get a nice little bounce up. Selling off, selling off, selling off. Like everything's selling off. QQQ has a block at 337. I think it's already filled that block, right? Nope, it didn't. 337. Really? They're expecting that big of a move today? Hey now, let's go. QQQ 337s. I'm just do one thing. I'm trying to, let me just get this set up real quick. Ooh, that was an ugly candle on the spiders. Whoa, SPY just dropped 416. Not even joking. SPY's at 416. What? All right, so there's a random. All the stops are gone. All of them. Okay, so, no, come on. All right, so for you, those of you that are new, this is Flow Index, this is FlowTrade. It tracks smart money, dark pool, block trade, large institutions, hedge funds. It's created its own flow index, which is this purple line you see here. Green bars are price action. Red lines are regular block trade. Blue lines are dark pool block trades. White lines are good time. When a white line appears or close to a white line, that's when a regular and a dark pool are printed on top of each other. Those are major inflection areas. I usually like to mark those on my chart to see what happens when price interacts with those. We look for areas of divergence where price is heading in one direction and the flow index is heading in another, and noting where that divergence occurred. That divergence will usually play out with price retracing to the point of divergence. Flow index is a predictive leading indicator that does not have a y-axis anchor, but it's freeform, free floats, right? So it's not like, oh, well, they're lined up, right? It's independent. That's why we like to get as much data available on our real estate to see what the overall market or what market makers are doing, right? Market makers will scale into position as price is falling down so that it doesn't create a false illiquidity vacuum. And as price is rising up, they'll start selling you those shares that people buy. Okay. So with that being said, we have some requests today that we want to look at first. We want to look at Johnny was here first, and Johnny wants to look at Bitcoin. All right, so BIT had been trading with the flow index, right? There's no regular block trades in the last 4 days. I would anticipate some reversal here. If we can get above 1589, there's a nice little move up to 1614, and then there's a zone from 1614 up to about 1650. Okay, small cap stocks really aren't conducive to the flow index just because there's just not a whole lot on there, right? Okay. Looking at NOC, we've got some bullish divergence. If this support level holds, right, and this isn't at head and shoulders, then we can look at potentially going a little bit longer on it. See, the flow index is making higher lows and higher highs, and it's actually got a nice little channel it's created for itself. Right. Nice little channel. All right, little channel there. So trade with price. This divergence here is played out. I'm trading with price. Right, we're trading with price. Like there's no divergence so far. Right, so we're trading with price. So any little pops, right, we would look to recover long above 457.16. Right, that's this top. Right, we go long above that. There's a trading zone that runs up to about here. Right. So also from a Fib perspective, we could say from that high to this low, right? From the low to the high, we've just did a 618 pullback. That's a big good position to get into, go long. If that level breaks, we have 50% retracement support down here at the previous low at 435.89. Below that, we kind of hit the 2-3 retracement and backfill this larger gap all the way down at 407. Okay, but I like the 618 spot for a possible move. It may be super heavy though. Might be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? I think that makes sense. So let's look at NOC on our chart. What is the NOC? Oh, Northrop. Okay. I need a 15-minute chart to show you the Elliott wave move down, right? Let's see, ABC corrective, right? So we're looking at a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we went 4-hour top, 4-hour bottom, right? Then we need that ABC corrective pattern. That will do A, B, C, right? All right, or is this it? Yeah, I think that's right. So above 460, removed 475. We're at support. We're at 4-hour bottom daily bottom, right? So this 444, 445 level, even as low as 440, right? We still didn't take out the daily bottom, right? So I would say support here for the corrective move, right? Up to the mid, right? The mid back down to the 4-hour bottom. And then C would probably be the beginning of another one of these. That I think, anyway, you see what I'm talking about. All right, NOC, however, the flow index, right, is the flow index is they're buying as prices coming down. All right, that was it for NOC. OIH. I don't like this little pattern here, right? This left shoulder, head, right shoulder with a gap to fill. Flow index made a high, lower, high, lower. Flow index could easily pull back to some levels here. Watch this trend line, right? If the trend line snaps, and then watch the flow index for, right, if it can kind of get out of its own way. From a Fib perspective, right, rip up 618 retracement would still not fill the gap, so we would need to do a 382 retracement off of this funky little move here to 260. That's just nasty. So I'd watch the flow index. If the flow index can go make a higher high, then price is essentially just trading with it, okay? Tesla. Oh, I gotta run. Dang it. The flow index hasn't turned around yet on Tesla, but Tesla does what Tesla wants to do, right? It's got some overhead support. I don't even know what Tesla's trying to do from a not making sense. So Tesla, if it breaks 825, it can come down to 807 and then back test lows at 795. If it holds here and can get over this trend line, there's a magnet at 860, but lots of dark pulls between there and like 837 to 890 or 839. Okay, I gotta hurry. I fell behind. CVE. If the flow index if it continues to make a low, then it's got some bearish divergence. I would look at 1630 as support. Below 1650 and 1630, if that breaks, then there's lots of support down here at the $16 level. Looks like chips will run today. Yeah, PayPal is just trading with the flow index. Look for flow index to bounce at 93. If it breaks, then it can drag price back down with it. These regular blocks have all been filled, right? Looks like these dark pools have as well. Got a regular block that came in yesterday. It ripped off of. Unless PayPal comes out and says something about Russia and Ukraine, I think that we see. Yeah, we just need 94. 95 needs to hold. I'd go long above 96, just 97, right? 97 to 100. Play that $3 move. All right, I gotta run. Thanks for joining me. I'm Darkpool Algo. AMD looks. I need the flow index to reverse. If not, it's forming a big finger pattern. Big old nasty inverse head and shoulders as well. So AMD's up here filling, it's already filled in all these blocks, right? AMD has a trading zone that goes basically from 110, right, up to about 113, 114, and then it's got a big one that goes 113 to 119, like it's a $6 move. Okay. Have a great day. I am Darkpool Algo. I'll be here tomorrow morning as well. Thanks for joining me. Oxy, right? Made a low. If it doesn't make a higher high, right, and form a big head and shoulders, then no gap to fill here. It's got to come back, right? It's either going to chop from 50 to 58 or it's going to pull back. So All of these blocks have been filled. All right, so we got dark pool is right. They're buying these dark pools, right? So maybe we get another pop up to 58, but I don't think it goes and makes new highs. Okay, have a great day. I'll see you all tomorrow. Stay safe, stay green. See you in the chat. If you have any questions, hit me up. Make sure you like the video, subscribe, and turn on those notifications that I forgot to monetize.